Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Oscar Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. And is this the case that you wish to be heard on? Okay. I just have a brief script I need to read. If you are the victim of a crime of a case pending before this court, you are advised that you have rights under Arizona law that, among others, include the right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, to a speedy trial, to be present at court proceedings, to choose whether or not to be interviewed by the defendant or the defendant's attorney, to be heard before the court makes a decision on release, which is what we're doing here today, negotiation of a plea, scheduling and sentencing, and to receive restitution from a person who is convicted of causing you loss. If you have not already been provided with a written statement of all victims' rights, please contact the Victim Services Division of the Prosecutor's Office. All right. Mr. Gutierrez, you are here on a Justice Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegation of one count of assault, which is a Class 1 misdemeanor. I have appointed you an attorney. Does the victim wish to be heard?
Yes, sir.
All right, you may proceed.
Okay. I did submit a statement through online.
And I reviewed that. I did read that statement.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to follow up because I just wanted to be present to let it be known that everything that occurred during the scenario was like a big misunderstanding. I think it escalated past what was necessary. I just wanted to be present to show that this is, a poor lack of judgment, but it's not. I didn't feel like my life was threatened or, like I didn't feel endangered. It takes two people to be in this situation, so I do take accountability for my actions as well. During what happened, I'm sure, you know what was done. I just wanted it to be known that it was like a small spark that basically just erupted into something way bigger than what it needed to be. The defendant tried to get out of the car, and I think I grabbed him too hard, which is what set it off. Of course, the rest to follow. But I just wanted it to not just be, solely on him. And, I didn't want it to, I just think this is blown out of proportion. I didn't think it was going to go to that extent. The officer didn't ask me if I wanted to press charges, if I wanted him, to arrest or whatnot. He didn't say anything of that sort to me. He asked me what happened, and that was pretty much it. Or, multiple officers asked me, but I didn't feel like I had that proper communication where I could say, I don't feel like my life was threatened or whatnot, and I wish that I would have had that conversation so it could have been communicated that I thought that it would just be like we're separated, cool down, and then leave it at that, but it escalated to, the defendant's arrest. So I just want to say that. Okay.
No, and thank you for coming down here and saying that. And again, thank you for writing what you wrote. I have taken that into consideration.
Thank you.
Yes, again, thank you. Okay, so Mr. Gutierrez, in light of what I've read and what I've heard, I am going to release you on supervised release. So that means you will be released today. It'll be about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. That's just how long it takes everything to be processed. It's not that we're trying to keep you here. That's how long it takes. So you have an arraignment hearing at the West Mesa Justice Court, October 15th at 8:30 a.m. I'll let you know for your benefit as well as for your benefit as well. These types of cases can go any number of ways. And so right now I get that it's probably very concerning. There's a lot of unknown of what might happen. And so you're going to get more information. There's a question of whether the prosecutor's office is even going to file charges. And so this is just initial appearance court. And so let me explain. That means I have to determine whether there's probable cause based on what the police filed. Probable cause is a very low standard. It's just, could you be charged with this? To find somebody guilty is a much higher much higher standard. And so just because I find probable cause, it doesn't mean that I believe that you're guilty. You are innocent unless proven guilty. But again, my requirement is different than that. So it's just that I find probable cause that you could be charged with that. That's why I have appointed you an attorney at this time. Again, October 15th, 8:30 a.m., that's at the West Mesa Justice Court. That is your hearing. Now, if the prosecutor's office don't file charges within 48 hours, then this case goes away for now. They can file charges at a later date, but this case would go away. You wouldn't have that hearing on the 15th, and the conditions and restrictions of release that I'm about to provide to you will no longer have any effect. Again, a charge could still be filed at a later date, but I just want you to be aware of that. So after 48 hours, you can reach out to the West Mesa Justice Court. You could reach out to the prosecutor's office, see if they have filed charges after all in this case. If you don't know anything otherwise, though, assume that the charges have been filed and that you need to go to court on October 15th. Now, regarding the conditions and restrictions of release, it may not be what the two of you are going to want to hear. These are standard conditions and restrictions that we put in place anytime there's any sort of a domestic violence incident, any time that domestic violence has been alleged. Let me put it that way. These can be modified. They can be modified by a judge in the future. And again, it may be that the charges aren't filed, and so then these will go away. But at this time, you have the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to initiate contact with the alleged victim, or have any contact with any complainants or witnesses, or have any physical contact with the alleged victim. You're not to possess any weapons. You must find an alternative residence, provide proof of the same to the court, and you must obey the terms of any order of protection or injunction against harassment that has been issued or which may be issued. Based on what we've heard today, I don't think one is going to be issued, but one may be issued. If it is, you need to comply with it. You can have no contact with the victim for any reason, even if she contacts you first. I understand there probably is going to be a desire on both of your part to try to clear the air and things like that. Again, do not violate these orders, because you can, if you violate these orders, you may get a felony interfering with judicial proceedings or aggravated assault charge. So you also may not reside at the same location as an alleged victim, even if you are an owner or renter of the residence. You're entitled to one civil standby. That's where you contact local law enforcement, schedule a time to meet an officer who will escort you to the residence so that you can obtain your essential belongings. But you also could have a friend or family member pick up your essential belongings and take them to where you are. So, Mr. Gutierrez, based on everything I've said, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, when you said I have to find an alternative residence, is that if I live with the alleged victim?
Oh, do you two not reside together?
No.
You don't? Okay, let me modify this then. So you don't need a civil standby then either, correct, to pick up your items? Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Gutierrez, I have removed that, so you don't. If you two don't reside together, then you don't have to find a separate residence. Okay. Mr. Gutierrez, do you have any other questions?
Other than that, just to make sure that I have it clear, I just now have to wait for processing that would take about 4 or 5 hours to be freed?
Yeah, about 4 hours to 6 hours, and then you'll be able to leave.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, all right. And again, it is just processing, and please know that the officers here are working as hard and fast as they can. No one wants you to stay here a minute longer than is necessary.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Good luck to you. And thank you again very much for coming here.
Thank you.
We'll be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Yes, Anthony McLean, 12.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Mr. McLean, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations: 1 count of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, it's a Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference October 14th, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing October 16th, 8:31 a.m. That's at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. McLean, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, so you are going to leave here in approximately 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're not to possess any weapons, and you have the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Okay. Mr. McLean, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. We're going to take a brief recess. I have more DUI warrants that have come in. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Tammy Olto, 12.
Thank you, Ms. Walatalo. Ma'am, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations, one count of taking contraband into a correctional facility, a Class 2 felony, one count of possession or use of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, one count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference October 14th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing October 16th, 8:31 a.m. That is at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Ms. Walatalo, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, so you are going to leave here in approximately 4 hours to 6 hours from now.
Okay, thank you.
Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates, you're not to possess any weapons, and you have the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Ms. Walatalo, do you have any questions?
No, you're not.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Good luck to
Thank
you.
you.
You're welcome. Abigail Wallington Caravello, and then Michael Camacho will be on deck. Oh, and if you'll wait just a moment. Officer Luna, did Caleb Martin get the FOJ sheet? Okay, thank you. All right, good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Abigail Wallington Caravello.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wallington Caravello. Ma'am, you are here on a Superior Court direct complaint arrest warrant. You're charged with one count of possession or use of dangerous drugs, one count of possession or use of narcotic drugs. Those are both Class 4 felonies, and one count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, which is a Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference October 14th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing October 16th, 8:31 a.m. That's at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Ms. Wallington Caravello, I am going to release you on your own recognizance, so you are going to be leaving here in approximately 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department within 5 days of today's date. Ms. Wallington Caravello, do you have any questions? All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you. Michael Camacho and then Jonathan Ortiz will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Mike Camacho, 9.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. Mr. Camacho, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations, 2 counts of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference October 14th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing October 16th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Camacho, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. So you're going to leave here in approximately 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, sir, you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department within 5 days of today's date. Mr. Camacho, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Jonathan Ortiz and then Shannon Fisher will be on deck. All right. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Jonathan Ortiz.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Mr. Ortiz, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegation of 1 count of criminal trespass in the first degree involving a residential structure. That's a Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference October 14th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Preliminary hearing October 16th, 8:31 a.m. Mr. Ortiz, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. So you are going to leave here in approximately 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims, and you're not to possess any weapons. Mr. Ortiz, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Shannon Fisher, and then Eusebio Rodriguez Patino will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Shannon Marie Fisher. My date of birth is 2.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Ms. Fisher, you are here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations. 1 count of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony. 1 count of shoplifting, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference October 14th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing October 16th, 8:31 a.m. That'll be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. So, Ms. Fisher, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You're going to leave here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, you're not to possess any weapons, and you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Ms. Fisher, do you have any questions?
I do not, and I thank you for your judgment. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. Fisher. Good luck to you.